Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Jackson, the Army Corps of Engineers is currently finalizing the Lower San Joaquin River feasibility study, expecting a chief's report out at the end of the year. There's been an ongoing dispute about Army Corps personnel and local officials over the inclusion of a reclamation district. We refer to this reclamation district as RD-17 in the final chief's report. I don't expect you to know all the details about one single irrigation district. My question is more along the lines of the thinking of the Army Corps, both on flood protection, but also on new government expansion and the development within those different areas. It's my understanding the Army Corps personnel are interpreting an executive order that specifically is set up to discourage growth or development. But in this irrigation district, or in this reclamation district I'm talking about, it currently is the home of 46,000 Americans, a county jail, a county hospital, 8 schools, 9 fire stations, 8 police stations, and also is home to Sharp Army Depot, which has an Army Reserve unit, a Marine Reserve unit, and is an active duty Army base. So we are, as a country, denying flood protection in an area that not only has housing and schools and fire departments, but also has a federal active duty base that is a logistics base to the Pacific Theater. As well as, this is going to be the newest VA facility, a VA hospital in the country. It's one of the next ones that will be built. Army Corps is the one that is going to be in charge of building this new facility. So on one hand, the Army Corps is interpreting an executive decision that will discourage growth and deny flood protection in an already existing area and an existing active duty base. And on the other hand, the Army Corps is going to build this new VA hospital. We're expecting it to come in on time and on budget, but if you're not going to provide the flood protection, I assume you will have to change the criteria of this new VA facility, which will, if you're changing the criteria, obviously run up costs and delays. I'd like an answer on what your philosophy would be on both the flood protection side of this, core responsibility of the Corps, but secondly, on a new facility that new VA facility that the Army Corps will now be constructing.
Sir, I can't talk specifically about that project because I don't have all the details, but I'll certainly follow up with you on that. Philosophically, I think the Corps takes every opportunity and responsibility for our role in federal flood risk management seriously. So I'm not sure how our local district or our division is interpreting an executive order, but that's certainly something that we at the headquarters level will dig into after this hearing and get a response back to you on that, because we certainly don't, as an organization, want to take any position where we discourage growth. In fact, I think what we do very, very well in the Corps of Engineers is find opportunities to meet all the competing requirements that will allow us to grow our economy and allow communities to prosper. So I owe you some feedback on your specific issue. And on the Veterans Administration facility, certainly that comes into play, as does a federal installation, but no different than a community in my mind in terms of our responsibilities to take a hard look at the problem set. So if you would be willing to let me come back to you on that, give you a more detailed answer, clarify where we may have some confusion into the lower part of our ranks, I'll be glad to do that, sir.
Thank you. Specifically, I'd like you to get back to me on this Lower San Joaquin feasibility study as well as RD-17, the 200-year flood protection. But let me follow up with one final question. So the Army Corps is now, I believe for the first time, going to be building, the VA has not done a great job of controlling costs. So we're looking forward to the Army Corps stepping that up and controlling costs. The question would be, how do you control costs if the Army Corps is not creating flood protection and now instead is going to develop a VA facility? How would you, I assume that you are aware of the new role of building VA facilities, and if your number one project is going to have changes, how do you control those costs?
Well, sir, we have, we'll control the cost with the VA program that we've been given the responsibility to execute, as we would for any of our other projects. I think one of the things that we're looking at in our designs in general is how to make buildings more resilient. And I don't know the specifics of where this VA hospital is located with regard to the floodplain. Obviously, levees and flood protection are a multi-layered array for us. We certainly use structural measures such as raising, different parts of the VA hospital, putting mechanical systems on a higher floor as part of our standard design to account for, other contingencies and layers of protection with our flood risk management program. So I will get back to you on the specifics of how this is designed based upon where it's situated on the ground in relation to the floodplain that you described. And also we'll do that in line with the answer to where we stand on the flood issues, flood protection issues for the communities that you're talking about.
Thank you. And just in closing, I'd like to invite you out to the area. I think it's a very unique opportunity since we have the new VA facility, as well as SHARP, as well as dealing with this new feasibility study. As your time permits, we'd love to invite you out.
Congressman, thank you very much.
Thank you.